So as we've been talking more and more about the Activision Blizzard deal, one area that we should look at is China. Recently, it was announced that World of Warcraft and other popular games aren't going to be published there anymore because of a deal that fell through with NetEase where they called Bobby Kotick a jerk. Oh my goodness, some drama. Let's dive into this right now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when my content goes live. I greatly appreciate you watching. Thank you for doing so. Diving into this story, so we got Tom Warren here who tweeted about it. Well, Twitter's still a thing. He said, Blizzard will suspend games in China because it can't reach an agreement with its licensing and publishing partner NetEase. World of Warcraft, Overwatch 2, Diablo 3, and more won't be available in China after January 23rd, 2023. Now, that's significant news, and the reason it's so significant is because you got to think about all the players that invested so much time into Overwatch, into World of Warcraft, and the Diablo 3. Poof, their game's just gone. Imagine that happened in the US. People would be flipping out. So I can't even imagine what is going on in China. Tom continues, though. He says, NetEase's head of partnerships appears to be calling Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick a jerk on LinkedIn. This is from Simon Zhu. He says, as a gamer who spent 10,000 hours in the world of Azeroth, StarCraft, and Overwatch, I feel so heartbroken, and I will no longer have access to my account and memories next year. One day, when what has happened behind the scenes could be told, developers and gamers will have a whole new level of understanding of how much damage a jerk can make. Feel terrible for players who lived in those worlds. Now, of course, he's talking about CEO Bobby Kotick, who would have been overseeing this deal. But let's read a more thorough breakdown from over at Windows Central, who talked about it some more. So he blames a jerk for the end of the Blizzard area PC games in China. Basically, they're going to lose access to the vast majority of Blizzard's Windows, PC, and mobile games. The gaming giant will suspend most of its game services in mainland China in like a month and change on January 23rd, 2023. World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch 2, Diablo 3, the StarCraft series, and other titles will be affected by the move. Activision Blizzard explained the situation in a recent post. Now, I don't know how popular StarCraft is in China, but I believe it was hugely popular in Korea when it was released, and it was hugely popular with this guy. StarCraft 2 is one of my favorite games, one of the first games that I actually played early on PC. I got so hooked on it, I would challenge myself to take on PC opponents, and I could do a Zerg rush and take on 7 PC opponents at once and just annihilate them with Zerg. But I practice using Protoss. Anyway, I'm nerding out about StarCraft a little bit. I would practice using Protoss, and what I would do is I would get those ships that sent out the little things, and I would just send fleets of those and just annihilate. Because if you can counter the Zerg rush, so yes, I figured out the Zerg rush build, but then with Protoss, if you were able to figure out how to counter that and beat that rush, the other teams were doomed, and that was like the PC strategy. But anyway, I love StarCraft, and to hear that China is just going to lose access to this huge library of games, it's a huge bummer. He talked about how bummed he is about the games no longer being there. And here's what The Verge had to say. It's not clear who Zhu believed is a jerk at Blizzard, as he did not specify. Some, including The Verge's Tom Warren, speculated that he's referring to Bobby Kotick in his post. Blizzard will suspend new sales in China over the next few days. The company promised more details about the effect the suspension will have on Chinese players. They got to do something for them. Like, can you export your saves? If you're able to play any of those games offline, like I know the original StarCraft, you can play offline. Is there a way that they can keep the games and keep their saves retained? But like something like Warcraft, you're just done. Like it's a really strange situation. I don't understand why it would have fallen apart. Blizzard explained that the upcoming release of World of Warcraft, Dragonflight, Hearthstone, March of the Lich King, and Season 2 of Overwatch 2 will all go forward later this year in existing markets, although China, my mouse has been acting weird lately where it like auto rolls down, although China will not be among them. However, the end of Blizzard and NetEase's partnership did not extend to the often criticized Diablo Immortal, which is under a separate long-term licensing agreement. So you hear that? They're making enough money with Diablo Immortal, so Diablo Immortal is going to stay, but all the other games are going to go. What? That's kind of like a big old FU, isn't it? Anyway, our sources within Blizzard have expressed their dismay over the implementation of Diablo Immortal's monetization system in the past, with some laying blame on NetEase for their aggressiveness and likeness to real money gambling with real money. Regardless, the end of Blizzard's services in China will be a major blow to the company's bottom line and fans therein as well. Games like World of Warcraft are heavily censored in the country, but they remain popular despite the draconian laws around games and Western IP in general. You know, China's been really restrictive with what kids are allowed to play. And I believe there was also like a time limit that was put on a lot of those games that people were experiencing and playing in China, where you could only play like for an hour or something like that. So I am a little curious if that factored into it, because if you're playing less, you're probably spending less. And I know China's been involved in imposing those limitations on their players, their younger players especially. Continuing on, though, let's see here. Microsoft has notably cited mobile gaming in China as a big reason for its attempt to merge with Activision Blizzard. I wonder if, so I have to wonder if the Activision Blizzard merger goes through, what if that happens in February? Is Xbox going to be able to just turn those servers back on, or does that decision still fall on Activision Blizzard's plate? That's certainly a question that they're probably figuring out, but to lose that market for so many properties is very strange. And this whole ordeal is likely going to put a wrench in the works. Despite this, Blizzard's games remain monstrously popular elsewhere throughout the world. Blizzard's next big games to launch include Diablo 4. Very excited for Diablo 4. Updates in Overwatch 2. And a huge World of Warcraft expansion dubbed Dragonflight due to launch in the coming weeks. And Chinese gamers are going to miss out. So if you happen to be in China or you live in China and you're watching this video, thanks for watching, first of all. Secondly, I would love to hear from you, or even if you know somebody in China who is going to be losing to their access to the games, what has the reaction been like on, I believe it's Weibo is their social media platform like Twitter. And there's also the WeChat, I think they use also for chatting and texting and stuff like that, but that's not really social media. That's more like a texting platform, I believe. Anyway, I'd love to hear what the reaction has been like. So let me know. If that happened to me, like imagine one day they just said, "Oh, we're shutting off the Destiny servers, F you." It would definitely be a strong reaction from me, especially something like if they did that in a month. So imagine that was you. You just found out that your entire MMO save, it's just going to be gone in 1 month. How would you be reacting? I would be furious. But you know what doesn't make me furious? You guys subscribing. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when my content goes live. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. And certainly not making me furious are my members. I actually really appreciate them. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, members. And if you want to become a member and support the channel, you can do so by clicking that join button right down there. Or you know what? You could just keep watching. Maybe watch another video. I could link to this one where I talked about the phase 2 investigation happening in China for the Activision Blizzard merger. And you can hit that subscribe button again if you missed it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one.